All right. The clock on the wall says 5 o'clock. Good evening, afternoon, morning, as it may apply to your particular time zone, Second Lifers. I am Doc Grun. I am not Lauren, so you are welcome to leave now if you'd like, but I'm hoping you'll stick around. I have a lot of comedy to get off my chest. We have a couple other people, too. We have Alex Hayes as our musical guest that will be arriving in an hour, and as I said, this is the start of an election year, and this at least some of my bits tonight are going to be an education in how to choose the proper candidate. Okay, but first I want to talk about the reason why I'm able to be here. As everybody here knows, it's a regular. I used to work in D.C. and I drove a long way, 2.5, 3 hours each way back and forth, and I was never able to get here on time. I now have another job that is much closer to home, so I'm here. I work for a large corporation in their business development center. I manage it, and we're in charge of going out and getting new business. And I manage the call center, and we probably listen to or take in and make anywhere between 3,500 and 4,000 calls a day. So it's a busy center, and a lot of people don't answer their phones. Everything is email this and text messages that. And as I'm sitting here listening to these calls all day long, I'm wondering why it is we've lost our personality, because everything is an email. It's impersonal. You can send it to someone. They don't know. You don't know if they've got it. You don't know if they read it unless you ask for a return receipt. And if they see your return receipt, they don't open it because they know that you've read it. So it's a game you play back and forth. But we've lost our personality, our personal touch, except when you consider the fact that in everyone's email address usually says something about their character, okay? I listen to hundreds of calls every day, and one of the first things we ask for is your email address so we can, continue to market to you. And here's some of the results of some of the calls that I listen to on an average day. And these are my people making the calls. I'll be sure to have your rental car ready for you, Dr. Johnson. Yes, I understand you have an important plastic surgery to do that day. We'll be ready. Okay. I'll send you an email confirmation to perkyboobs@aol.com. Okay. Thanks very much. Okay. Another one. Mrs. Greenwood, we can have your vehicle ready for you in time for your dance recital at 8 p.m. I'll email you at whoresonpoles@gmail.com when your car is ready. Why, yes, we're taking applications for drivers. Do you have a good driving record? Wonderful. I'll send you an email confirming your interview time. May I have your email address? hellonwheels@msn.com. Okay, thanks very much. Yes, sir. Yes, Attorney Stevenson. I'll be sure to apply your VIP discount to your $9.95 oil change. I received your coupon from your email address, screwemall@gmail.com. Okay. And without going into any great detail, you can tell a lot about the people. Here's a couple others that are worth mentioning. A local Planned Parenthood Center director. Any sex is good sex at yahoo.com. A local NRA youth educational director. Looky Daddy Bang at ymail.com. A DUI attorney. He had a special case because he has to blow in the drunk tube to start his car, okay? One for the road at gmail.com. A Disney vacation coordinator. You can't afford us at mm.com. Just a side note, this year Disney, for the first time, has raised the price of their single-person one-day pass to $100. Mm-hmm. When the park opened in 1971, that pass was $3.50. So you better get your rocks off when you see Mickey. Okay, and here's another one. A budget vacation coordinator. cheapfucktrips@gmail.com. Here's another. Linden Lab support staff. Okay. Nobody's home at ll.com. And my favorite, a Second Life comic, They don't pay me for this shit at yahoo.com. So,
Amen.
those are some of the characteristics that you can pick up with people, even though they aren't in the personal age anymore. Now, I've been doing a little perusing, okay? Here's a recent column. You know, everybody knows that Dear Abby is dead, but her column goes on and on and on. This is a Dear Abby that was sent in. I thought it was particularly good for tonight. Dear Abby, my husband is a liar and a cheat. He's cheated on me from the beginning, and when I confront him, he denies everything. What's worse, everyone knows that he cheats on me. It's so humiliating. Also, since he lost his job 14 years ago, he hasn't even looked for a new one. All he does all day is smoke cigars, cruise around, and shoot the bull with his buddies, while I have to work to pay the bills. Since our daughter went away to college, he doesn't even pretend to like me, and even hints that I might be a lesbian. What should I do? Signed, Clueless. Dear Clueless, grow up and dump him. Good grief, woman, you don't need him anymore. You're running for president of the United States, for God's sake.
That's exactly what I thought it was.
Talking about tax reform, okay? Because a lot of candidates are saying they're going to reform the tax code. I think Rand Paul was calling for a flat tax. The IRS has returned a tax return of a man in New York City after he apparently answered one of the questions incorrectly. In response to the question, do you have anyone dependent on you? The man wrote, 20.1 million illegal immigrants, 10.1 million crackheads, 40.4 million unemployable scroungers, 80,000 criminals in over 85 prisons, plus 450 idiots in Congress, and a group that call themselves politician. The IRS stated the response he gave was unacceptable. The man's response back was, well, who did I leave out? Okay. Trivia time, okay? Trivia time. 6 trivia questions to see how much history you really know, okay? And, be honest, it's kind of fun and revealing. I'll give you the answers at the end, okay? First statement. I'm going to read you a statement and give you the names of people, and you try and guess in your mind who it was that said this. Number 1, we're going to take away things from you on behalf of the common good. Who said this? Was it Karl Marx, Adolf Hitler, Joseph Stalin, Barack Obama, or none of the above? Question number 2. It's time for a new beginning, and for an end to government of the few, by the few, and for the few, and to replace it with shared responsibility for shared prosperity. Who said this? Lenin, Mussolini, Idi Amin, Barack Obama, or none of the above? Question number 3. When I turn the page, we can't just let business as usual go on. That means something has to be taken away from some of the people. Who said this? Nikita Khrushchev, Joseph Goebbels, Boris Yeltsin, Barack Obama, or none of the above? Question number 4. We have to build a political consensus that requires people to give up a little bit of their own in order to create this common good. I hear a theme here. Who said this? Mao Zedong, Hugo Chavez, Kim Jong-il, Barack Obama, or none of the above? Number 5. I certainly think the free market has failed. Karl Marx, Lenin, Molotov, Barack Obama, or none of the above? And question number 6. I think it's time to send a clear message to what has become the most profitable sector in the entire economy, that they are being watched. Who said this? Pinochet, Milosevic, Saddam Hussein, Barack Obama, and none of the above? Now, the answers are 1 through 6, none of the above. All of these statements were made by Hillary Clinton. Anywhere from 2004 up through 2007 in various political public statements. So, there's an education for you for one of your front runners in Congress, okay? Now, I got a letter the other day for my high school reunion, which is, I've never been to any of my high school reunions. When I was a DJ, I used to play hundreds of them. I never went back to my high school reunion for the reason that they could never find me, even though my brother was the band director for the school we both graduated from and worked there and still works there, but they couldn't find me, okay? So This is a high school reunion, and you can tell it's feeding time at the zoo. A husband takes her wife to the high school reunion. After meeting several of her friends and former schoolmates, they're sitting at a table where he's yawning and overly bored. The band cranks up, and people starting to dance. There's a guy on the dance floor living at large, breakdancing, moonwalking, backflips, buying drinks for people, and, the whole works. The wife turns to her husband and says, "You see that guy? 25 years ago, he proposed to me, and I turned him down." The husband says, "Looks like he's still celebrating." Okay, I got one more thing for you, and then we're going to bring somebody up because I got quite a few things going on tonight. This is a true story. As you know, Jeb Bush announced his campaign, and some people were looking at his campaign website. There is a diehard surprise on his website. I don't know if you heard about this. There's a surprise buried deep in the source code of his website, which went live on Monday. The website's source code contains, of all things, written synopses of all 5 Die Hard movies, along with a few other inside jokes that were inserted by the website's developers. The website source code is essentially a set of instructions to determine page layout, image display, etc., etc. In this case, it's written in JavaScript, and it often runs on for thousands of lines. The Die Hard references were first noticed by the New York Times, who tweeted it seemed like an odd thing to include in a presidential announcement page. Here's a small sample. At the fictional Nakatomi Plaza, East German terrorists break in and take the celebrants hostage. McClane escapes detection and hides throughout the building. He kills off the gang and learns their real aim is to steal millions in bearer bonds from the building vault. The synopsis, which is appeared copied from Wikipedia, are accompanied by commentary from the code's authors. The first film, for example, is described as, quote, also starring Severus Snape, or Severus Snape, a reference to the actor Alan Rickman, who played the villain in Die Hard, as well as Severus Snape in the Harry Potter films. Before the description of the 5th film, the code's authors write, "Please God, just let this franchise die." That might be a subliminal hint. The Bush campaign did not immediately respond for requests to comment. Now, while I'm giving you this next part, I want everybody to prepare. I want you to get your browser and open a Google browser. Okay, we have a little exercise here. When the Die Hard references feel out of place, it's not unusual for developers to leave inside jokes or hidden messages buried in website code. In fact, they're referring to it as Easter eggs in the programming community. Okay? Now, some Easter eggs are well known and highly entertaining. For example, if a user types, quote, about:"robots" into a Mozilla browser's address bar, the program returns a message that reads, "Welcome humans, we have come to visit you in peace and with goodwill." Now, Google has more than just a few, and here's where I want you to open a Google browser. In the Google search window, just try typing the word tilt and see what happens.
Google. All right, let's try that.
Just type tilt, T-I-L-T. Look what happens to your browser. Now, try typing do a barrel roll. Do a barrel roll.
No.
Now, here's a funny one. Type in answer to life, the universe, and everything. Tell me what you get.
42.
42.
Of course it is.
Oh.
But we still don't know what the question is.
We don't know what the question is. We know what the answer is. And now it's a shame that Lauren's not here because I've got some blonde jokes. Okay. And then I want to bring up. I think I'm gonna bring up Timmery. Two blondes are going to Disneyland. They're driving on the interstate when they saw the sign that said Disneyland left. They started crying and turned around and went home. Two blondes living in Oklahoma were sitting on a bench talking, and one blonde says to the other, "Which do you think is farther away, Florida or the moon?" The other one turns to her and says, "Hello, can you see Florida?" Okay. A blonde pushes her BMW into a gas station. She tells the mechanic it died. After he works on it for a few minutes, it's idling perfectly. She said, "So what's the story?" He replies, "Just crap in the carburetor." She says, "How often do I have to do that?" A police officer stops a blonde for speeding and asks her a very very nicely if he could see her license. She replied in a huff, I wish you guys would get your act together. Just yesterday you took it away, and now you expect me to show it to you. At the doctor's office, a young redhead goes into the office and states that her body hurts wherever she touched it. Impossible, says the doctor. Show me. The redhead took her finger, pushed it on her left shoulder, and screamed. Then she pushed her elbow and screamed even more. She pushed her knee and screamed. Likewise, her ankle and screamed. Everywhere she touched made her scream. The doctor said, You're not really a redhead, are you? Well, no, she said. I'm actually a blonde. I thought so, the doctor said. Your finger's broken. A highway patrolman pulls alongside a speeding car on the freeway. Glancing at the car, he was astounded to see the blonde was behind the wheel, was knitting. Realizing that she was oblivious to his flashing lights and siren, the trooper cranked down his window, turned on his bullhorn, and yelled, Pull over! She yelled, No! It's a scarf! Oh, man. Okay. A Russian, an American, and a blonde were talking one day. The Russian said, We were the first in space. The American said, We were the first on the moon. The blonde said, So what? We're going to be the first on the sun. The Russian and the American looked at each other and shook their heads. You can't land on the sun, you idiot. You'll burn up, said the Russian. To which the blonde said, We're not stupid, you know. We're going to go at night. And a girl was visiting her blonde friend who had acquired 2 new dogs and asked what their names were. The blonde responded by saying that the one was named Rolex and the other was named Timex. His friend said, Who ever heard of naming dogs like that? Hello, she said, they're watchdogs.
Dogs?
Oh, okay, all right.